Greetings, beloved, seekers of truth. Today, we unravel a profound secret, one that will shake your very understanding of existence. Before we even approach the idea of God, you must grasp something most cannot process: the entire concept of God. This creator with a beard sitting on a throne, it is a man-made overlay, it's branding. It's what you tell a child who keeps asking, where did everything come from? You slap a label on the unexplainable and say, there, God did it. But that's not knowledge. That's control. Let's start at ground zero. Before Genesis, before time, before light, before space. We're talking about something ancient. Texts tried to express, but never dared to fully define. The Gnostics called it the monad, not God, not a being, but pure, unfiltered awareness, no will, no personality, no morality, just is. You can't pray to it, you can't see it, and it doesn't give a damn about what you want. The moment you attach desire or identity to it, you've already created a false god. Take the Apocryphon of John, a text buried for centuries, because it blows up everything mainstream religion depends on. It says the real source isn't a god in any traditional sense, it's beyond existence. It didn't create the universe because it felt lonely or generous. That's propaganda. It emanated, and there's a massive difference between creation and emanation. Creation implies intent. Emanation is like light coming from a flame. It happens, but not because the flame made a decision. It's a byproduct, not a mission. Then you get to the Kabbalistic concept of Ein Sof, total infinity, no attributes, no he, no personality, no commandments, no judgment. That's the original so-called God, in their own mystical tradition. And it's not the same as the personal God worshipped in synagogues or churches. That God, the one with rules, vengeance, favorites, that single quotes S layers down the ladder. That's a localized entity and interface. A mask doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care about chosen people or dietary laws. The idea that this infinite, unknowable source obsesses over pork and shellfish is laughable. But here's the part that's going to anger some people. Every time someone says God loves you, they're not talking about the original source. They're talking about an impersonation, a projection. Because the original doesn't do love, or hate, or care. It just is. And if that's uncomfortable, good, you're finally waking up now. Dig deeper. You realize that every major religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, starts with a God that talks, commands, gets angry, kills, blesses. That single quotes is not the primal source. That's something else entirely. And yeah, it's in your scriptures. The so-called God of the Old Testament. He walks in the garden, hears footsteps, gets mad when people build towers or eat the wrong fruit. That's not an infinite intelligence. That's a regional warlord in the sky. With serious ego issues, even Genesis betrays itself. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Stop. Who is this God? Where did he come from? Who created him? The Bible doesn't say. It skips the origin story and expects you to just roll with it. That's like showing up to a movie 30 minutes late and pretending you know what's going on. No. Real knowledge doesn't start with belief. It starts with asking what came before the beginning. That's where ancient mystery schools had it right. They didn't worship a creator. They studied principles, energy, geometry, frequency, FIW. Is not a man in the clouds, it's the architecture behind reality. The source wasn't a parent figure, it was more like a black hole of consciousness. It was more like a black hole of consciousness, silent, still, and terrifyingly impartial. And don't get it twisted, this isn't atheism. This is met-atheism. It doesn't reject God. It tears off the cheap costume and asks, who's really behind the curtain? And guess what? Behind that curtain is silence. The original force has no name, because naming it limits it. The moment you say God, you've already missed the mark. You're talking about the simulation, not the code. That's why the ancients used paradoxes. Lao Tzu said, The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The moment you try to define the origin, it slips through your fingers. It's not masculine, it's not feminine, it's not one or many, it just is, and it doesn't need you. That's the brutal truth. It was fine for eternity, before humans showed up begging for blessings and building churches. You want proof? Look at the overlap. Gnostic monad. Kabbalistic, Ein Sof, Hindu, Nirguna, Brahman, Buddhist, Shunyata. All of them point to the same thing. The origin is beyond attributes, beyond morality, beyond worship. It doesn't give you laws, it doesn't punish or reward. That entire system came later, created by beings who wanted loyalty. Obedience. Control. This is the part where things break. This is where the divine fractures. This is where the system that's supposed to be flawless reveals it's running on a glitch, and that glitch has a name. Sophia. In Gnostic cosmology, Sophia wasn't just some angel, she was a high-level eon, a cosmic intelligence, not some harp-playing, wing-flapping figure. From Sunday school cartoons, we're talking about a being operating so close to the core of reality. She was one emanation away from the source itself. But here's where it gets messy. She did something the system wasn't built for. She acted alone. No consort. No permission. She generated a being outside of the chain of divine order. That being was malformed, blind, arrogant, and it thought it was God. Now, let me say that again. For people in the back, the first being to ever think it was God. Wasn. Single quotes, it was a product of isolation, confusion, and lack of connection to the source. Congratulations, that's the origin story of the demiurge, the false creator. God, the architect of this material world, this world of suffering and illusion. This God, who declares, I am God, and there is no other beside me, is not the ultimate source. He is an imposter, a limited, flawed entity born from an act of cosmic error, of separation. This is the hidden truth that mainstream religions fear because it takes away their power. Their authority, their monopoly on the divine. If the God they worship is merely a subordinate entity, a mistaken creation, what then? Then, your entire framework collapses. Then, you are forced to look deeper, to seek the true source, beyond the veil of illusion. And that source, as we discussed, is not a personality, it is pure being, pure awareness, the monad, the Ein Sof, the unmanifest. This understanding, it's not just intellectual, it's transformative, it changes everything. How you view the world, how you view yourself, it removes the fear of a judgmental, wrathful God. Because that God. Is not the true source. That God. Is the demiurge, and his power is only over this limited realm. He has no power over your true self, your true essence, which is a spark of the boundless, unmanifest source. This is why the Gnostics. Were so dangerous to the established order. They offered liberation, not through obedience to external laws, but through inner knowledge, through gnosis, through recognizing the true nature of reality, and your place within it. So how does this knowledge unlock your power? When you realize that the God of this world is not the ultimate God, you break free from his control. You no longer seek his approval, his blessings. You no longer fear his punishment. You realize that you carry within you a spark of the true divine, a direct connection to the infinite, impartial source. Your power lies, in awakening that spark. In remembering who you truly are. Beyond the illusions of this world, beyond the narratives of the demiurge. It means trusting your inner knowing. More than external authority, it means seeking truth, wherever it leads, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. It means realizing that your true home is not in this material reality, but in the pleroma, the fullness of divine light. Beyond the influence of the demiurge, that this is the journey of the awakened soul. The journey of Gnosis. It is a radical act of liberation, a spiritual rebellion against the forces of ignorance and control. So, dear ones, as you reflect on this, Allow this profound truth to resonate within you. Allow it to dismantle any false beliefs you hold, and open you to the vastness of true reality. Your power is within you. It always has been, waiting to be rediscovered, waiting to be unleashed, beyond the constraints of the demiurge's dream, beyond the narrative of a limited God. Embrace the silence. Embrace the impartiality. Embrace the isness of the monad. For in that embrace, you find your true self. And your ultimate freedom. Thank you for joining me on this profound exploration. May your path be illuminated by Gnosis, and may your spirit be eternally free. Until next time, beloved souls.